Hey everybody, I'm Danny Otto. Welcome into an all-new episode of That Recap Show. Now, before we get into the episode, just wanted to issue major spoiler alert. We are going to be going over everything that happened in the first episode of the Penguin series. So if you haven't watched that episode yet, you may want to pause this video, head over to Max, check out that episode, and then come back and enjoy the breakdown. Now, with that out of the way, let's start the show.
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.
All right, joining with me to break down everything from the first episode of the Penguin series, it's Jon Jon Rico.
Hello.
Hello.
We did it. We're here.
We did it. We are here. Man, this is going to be such a fun month because we get to go from the newest, Marvel TV show to the newest DC TV show. It's gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun.
It's a nice little month of or a couple months of television at least.
Yeah, I'm happy that we're getting everything that we could want from the biggest comic book creations. Basically, you know what I mean. Like we're getting new Marvel content. We're finally getting new DC content. It's just fun. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been especially excited for this series in particular since I saw the trailer for it, especially. But just knowing that we're getting another installment in this Matt Reeves Batman world is just really exciting.
Yeah, and that leads perfectly into kind of what I wanted to talk about first about this is, and I kind of said it the same way when we were kind of introing the Agatha All Along series, but in the same token, this series and this episode start off with kind of the exact ending from the Batman movie. Like, so we're getting, we're getting immediately sucked back into this universe, number one.
Yeah.
But number two, we're getting this kind of refresher of okay, just so you know, this is what had happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're getting that, but also it's very quickly giving us the time frame that we're in too. Like this is very quick after the events of the movie too. So
yeah, it's a direct follow-up for sure.
And that was really only like the first 2 minutes, maybe minute and a half, 2 minutes of the first episode, but it really used that time very well to kind of, bring us back in, kind of set the stage, tell us where we are, and then go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that was really, really well done. I said the same thing for the Agatha All Along series, kind of, tail ending the WandaVision events and stuff like that. So I think both series did that really well in a way of being able to pull you right back into the universe and really kind of set the stage really quickly and effectively, and then be able to kind of just run with the events that are going on and kind of the start of each series. And that's the biggest thing I kind of wanted to talk about for this first episode was just that intro was really cool. And then we kind of just, pick up the pieces, I guess. We get to see firsthand, what the effects of the events of the end of the Batman movie are now, like, people are living in, type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but Rico, what were some of your instant reactions from the first episode?
Yeah, just like you said, like that, especially that opening kind of like that little opening recap of the end of the movie where it talks about what the Riddler did, of course, just kind of reminding people because it's been a few years since the movie came out at this point. I can't believe it's been like that long because it feels like it just came out still with how much people are still kind of talking about certain scenes and stuff. But yeah, just, and it also kind of does, it almost kind of directly follows up with like the final shot of the Penguin in the movie, which is him overlooking the city from his club and his little penthouse up there, and also with that little monologue from the mayor too, like talk about how they're rebuild and all that. So yeah, it's really cool how they kind of like they show us that kind of final shot that we got from the movie, and then play it directly into how he just kind of keeps going in from that moment forward. I really love that. But yeah, I think this entire first episode sets the tone for the entire series just perfectly. The opening scene stuff with Oz and Alberto Falcone after everything's been put in place, and he's he's kind of telling the story about this old mobster back when he was growing up, and then Alberto Falcone makes the fatal mistake of laughing in Oswald's face, and you get to see this great moment where you just basically see like a light switch within Oswald, and then he just guns down Alberto right there, here and there. But for me, the more chilling part was like that little like him letting out a little bit of a chuckle, and then like kind of him trying to contain it. Just kind of keep that kind of like that brave face on basically. But man, that was a really great look into like the psyche of Oswald right there, right then and there. I also like that they kind of changed his name just from Oswald Cobblepot to just Oz Cobb or Oswald Cobb.
Yeah.
It just feels like a more natural name. I think Cobblepot is just kind of like, it is a funny name. But I think like when you're looking at just kind of like this mafioso kind of like character, I think Cobb just kind of fits his overall look and feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like that. And I also love the developing relationship that we're getting to see with him and Vic. I just think first of all, the way they meet is really just kind of like funny and kind of the way like, he's immediately drawn to the kid because he hears the stutter, and like he sees kind of like that kind of like the a person with a fellow disability basically. And first of all, like the shots of like that foot were yeah. And now you kind of learn like why he has like that little the little hobble to begin with, the penguin walk. But like, ooh, yeah, it just kind of like adds more layers to the character that is Oz, and it just makes. And first of all, man, Colin Farrell, immediately, like I keep forgetting that he's in the suit. Like that's how good he is in this role. Like I see him as like I just see Oswald as like that person. I keep forgetting that there's like this one of the greatest actors of our time, like underneath a bunch of prosthetics and stuff. But yeah, that relationship between him and Vic, I feel like is going to be like the heart of like the show. I feel like because we got to find something to sympathize with when it comes to Oswald, especially because he's not known to be a good guy. So their dynamic actually reminds me of something that feels like it's inspired from a graphic novel just called Joker, written by Brian Azzarello, which kind of is narrated / told from the point of view of one of Joker's henchmen, and like his kind of like interactions with the Joker and stuff like that. So I feel like they kind of took something like that and kind of used that as like an audience POV character to kind of show us someone who's interacting with someone like the Penguin. I especially like the scene, of course, when they finally get rid of Alberto's body and he thinks he's gonna kill Vic, and he's like, no, please don't. And it's kind of like the way he's just like, I can't do it. Like basically, like so, like everything about like that thing that kind of plays to the softer side of Oswald is what I think is gonna be very interesting in the series. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see like that relationship grow a lot more too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that leads perfectly into my takeaway. So, do you want to get to some big takeaways?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna kick this off just to roll right into it because I mean that was the biggest takeaway for me. I mean, there's in a first episode that felt like a movie. Like for me, that dynamic, exactly what you were talking about, is what was standing out to me the most because I'm so interested in their two dynamic. Like in this, like Vic is terrified, obviously, and for rightfully so. Like throughout the entire thing, but it's this weird, like dark, comedic, almost road trip type of scenes that are going on that like I start chuckling at out of the sheer awkwardness of it, especially when they pull up to the Falcone's mansion and he's about to get out and he goes, if I don't come back, don't worry about it.
I'll come back.
I'll come back. I'll come back. And then he was Vic's just sitting there the whole time, and he goes, "Maybe while I'm gone, you can look for that sense of humor."
Yeah, I like that the way Oswald, like you can't tell if he's like messing with him, but he tries to play it off like he's messing with him, but he doesn't know if he probably doesn't know if he's actually going to come back or not. The way he plays that in general is just really really funny.
Yeah, but those little kind of interactions of like, is this comedy? Is he like really like that? Those moments are what like I lived for in this episode between the two of them. It's just like it's that really like dark kind of comedic could be looked at as
dark comedy. Yeah,
right. So I just love that. I can't wait to see more of that. And obviously we got the kind of the trailer for the rest of the season and kind of what's coming up next type of thing. And there's more Vic in there and stuff like that. But yeah, I just really like that. And I there's so many good look. that's not to take away from anything else in this episode, because there is so much in this episode.
There's a ton that happens.
We can spend an hour talking about this episode and talk about everything. But like that for me was just, it kind of brought me back to what I enjoyed about the movie, like the Batman movie, where there were every once in a while these little tiny scenes of comedy, like could be taken as comedy, could be just like written off as just, just in there as like,
and mostly from Oz too, because he was probably mostly the comedic character of the movie.
yeah. But yeah, that for me was perfect, and I am just like you said, I am really interested to kind of see how their relationship dynamic, progresses and develops, and really to see how it's already changed so much over the course of what a day, maybe two,
a couple days,
tops. Like, and so like I'm curious to see, how that's going to progress throughout the entire season, moving forward, because obviously, there's going to be a trust that's going to build, because it's only those two at this point.
It's already started too,
right?
After the way the episode ended.
Yeah, exactly. But Rico, what were some of your takeaways from episode 1?
Yeah, I think first of all, the way he gets them to work for him too is especially funny too, because he's like, "Give me your ID," and he goes like, "All right, you're gonna do everything I say," or he goes, "I'll kill everyone like you care about or whatever." It's like he's saying all that, but it's like the way he's just kind of like saying, because like, "Yeah, I'll say," because like you better just do what I say,
right?
Like, but it's he can't physically be that intimidating just because of who he is. He's got the gun and everything, but it's just kind of funny the way he plays it off, and he knows the kid's he's already scared shitless to begin with, so it's just like, yeah, I'll just I'm gonna say the usual stuff, and then you'll do what I say, and then he gets into the car and they have like a funny conversation about air fresheners and how much Oswald loves the air fresheners and stuff like that. So getting to see like that more human side of him, of course, and also getting some like sorry.
I was gonna say the pickle scene where he goes,
"Ask for extra pickles, and they give me 2." So what? A normal amount of pickles is 1. Makes no goddamn sense.
Man, ask for extra pickles and give me 2.
Yeah, you only give me 2. Yeah. He goes, what do you think I mean by that?
Do you want mine? He goes, the pickles that you touched with your mouth?
Yeah,
no.
It's like those are like just great little character interactions that I think are going to be like, again, like the heart of the show for me. Yeah. And then you got the other side of it too, where Vic, when he tells him like, I just want a shot, basically, and that's where Oswald sees basically himself in the kid, so that's what makes him like almost believe in the kid even more. So yeah, that's I'm excited to see like almost like the business side of that relationship grow too, as much as like the personal side of it. But man, I think within this first episode, Kristen Milioti as Sophia Falcone is probably going to be the biggest, probably the show stealer for me of this series. I just from her first like scene where she comes in walking in behind Oz when he's having the meeting with one of the Falcone heads. And just like, she's out of focus, but you can feel the presence already when she walks in behind him. And even the way like his demeanor changes when he first sees her, I think is really cool. So like you automatically know like this is like a woman not to be fucked with. And then hey, you just gotta have Arkham. Like, oh god, she was in Arkham. Why was this Falcone woman in Arkham? And then of course later on when they finally capture Oz and like they got him naked in the chair and like first of all, the wire torture and stuff was brutal. But like just the way she kind of gives off like a more calmer Harley Quinn almost a little bit. She got like the crazy behind the eyes, but she's also like the mob daughter at the same time. I also like to think about the fact that she's also somewhat I guess Catwoman's like stepsister or half sister, because Falcone was also her dad in the movie. And also they recasted Falcone in the show as Mark Strong and not John Turturro, which I thought was really funny. So I'm always weird when they recast different actors in the same universe, but in this sense, I'm okay with it because I guess they're gonna have some flashback scenes. I'm guessing with Falcone later on. That's why you have Mark Strong there. But yeah, I think that like just watching her kind of play off of Oswald is gonna be really fun. Like the way that she kind of gives him the heebie-jeebies and but also watching him kind of play her and Sal Maroni for a little bit, like the way he's just pitting these things together. It's just really kind of interesting to watch. But yeah, I just feel like we're gonna get to see her in some really super unhinged spots at some point in the series. I'm sure we're gonna get some flashbacks of her days at Arkham as well. So yeah, I'm excited to learn more about that character in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And I was telling you it was such a clash of what I had normally seen her in like the role she's played previous. Because I was telling you, she was opposite Andy Samberg in a like kind of dark comedic movie, and she was the mother character
She's
on
the
How I
mother,
Met
yeah.
Your Mother. Yeah, like I have never seen her in this type of role, so like it was an instant like shock to my system, like seeing her like command that kind of presence and that kind of like, you don't know what she's gonna do. Like you don't at any moment. Like I was even in my head, I was like, is she gonna like take out like the people staring at them in the restaurant? Like I was like, I don't know what she's gonna do.
Right,
Like,
exactly. And she's also really good in the Black Mirror, like a Star Trek parody episode called the USS Callister. She's one of the cast members in that too. She's really good in that. So yeah, that's another thing to look out for her for.
very cool. Yeah. You want to get to some predictions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Why don't you kick off predictions for us?
Okay, so man, one of the things I loved about this, well, it's one of the things I was anticipating from this series in general. But when I watched this first episode, I actually felt the Sopranos vibes of the series, and of course, like Oz being like the Tony Soprano of like that comparison. But instead of him already being in power like Tony was in the Sopranos, we're getting to see Oswald kind of rise up to power, like at a crucial point in his life too. We get like early Tony in the Many Saints of Newark movie that came out not too long ago, the little Sopranos prequel, but we never really got to actually see like the point where Tony Soprano actually became like the lead head of his like his mafia family. So I think that's what's going to be really cool about this part of Penguin's journey is like we're going to get to see him go from like the guy who's, you know, he's getting his part of the business shut down, you know, the money maker that he's saying, you know, his whole drug operation, but he's now playing chess between all these different families too. He's playing Sal Maroni, he's playing Sophia Falcone, and now he's kind of pitting them against each other. So I'm guessing that if they take each other out, he can just go right there and take that head spot again. Yeah. So that's I'm really looking. I thought it was really cool. Like, and I think it'll make the episode like really cool to rewatch too. Is like the way that he was like clearly playing everything from the beginning. Like he had this plan. Like, you know, when we thought he was, was caught with Sophia, and then Vic ends up using the car and dropping Alberto's body and stuff like that. And then they have that cool little meeting with the slush puppies and all that. It's the way that he's just thinking like all these steps ahead of everybody else. And he knows how everybody works. I think that's the great thing about the Penguin character. It's just kind of showing this is what he's good at. He's good at being like the big crime boss. And like eventually he's going to have to be the guy that's leading the whole underworld of Gotham City at some point. And eventually this is going to lead right to the events of Batman 2 as well, which I'm really excited to see. So I'm really excited to see like what this journey does that will take us to that big jumping point.
Yeah. I mean, I just to kind of exactly agree with you, mirror what you're saying. Like, I think it's going to be really interesting to kind of see like what his overarching plan is and how he achieves it. And just because from what we've seen in this first episode, he's definitely formidable. He is like you said, he is playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers already, type of thing on a, I mean, big scale, but smaller-ish big scale type of thing. So I'm very curious to see where we are, like when we are talking finale of the season. I'm very interested to see like where we have him leading into what will be, you know, the sequel to the Batman movie type of thing. Like obviously he's you know, gonna seize power at some point, and he's going to be like more of a formidable boss and stuff like that. I'm also curious to see if we'll see appearances from like other Batman villains that maybe he kind of makes deals with to make him kind of not like the villain of the villains type of thing, but like there's always been team ups with Batman villains type of thing. So I'm curious, you know, we kind of already got a little bit of news about the Batman sequel where it's going to take place in winter and stuff like that, which, you know, works for a Penguin, also works for Mr. Freeze.
Certain ice villain. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see if we're going to get some introductions of some future villains for Batman movies through the series. Not that I want them to be shoehorned in, but like it would be cool to have them organically just be on the radar type of thing. Like little things like that, I think would be cool to kind of see as we go along with the series. But
yeah, I think one thing that we possibly could see as far as like another crossover from the movies is maybe a Commissioner Gordon, or if he's I think he's Commissioner. Yeah, he's Commissioner Gordon by then. Yeah, I think a Commissioner Gordon cameo. They try to make me see in them kind of some kind of conversation because, you know, there's always that weird thing where like, there's people who are paid off within the police department. And so there could be a thing where him and Oswald come to, they clash at some point. So I think, and I think Jeffrey Wright's a good caliber actor to bring into this kind of series as well. So I kind of would like to see him kind of come in, just kind of show what the GCPD is dealing with in the aftermath of this Riddler attack too, especially a guy like Gordon, who's deals so closely with the Batman as well. I imagine if they have some kind of conversation that the Batman's name is going to come up, especially because I think the last time they talked was when they had him all tied up and then they left him all tied up in the movie. So yeah, I think that would be a good little follow-up for the movie as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I look, I say this a lot. I know I said it during the Agatha All Along first couple episode recap video, but the sky's the limit. I mean, there really isn't any wrong answer. Like after you get like such a like awesome first episode for a series, introductory episode for a series, like expectations are high. Like basically, like you know what I mean? Like this was really good. I told you, I said it just felt like a movie at this point. Like it didn't even feel like an episode of a series. This is
that top tier HBO Sundays programming that I always know Game of Thrones, Last of Us, all that stuff. Like now we can put the Penguin up there too, which I think is really cool. Like the fact that the show about the Penguin is kind of hanging out over shows like that, I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. I can't wait until the next. I mean, we have to wait a little bit longer than normal because now they're switching to episodes being on Sundays instead of episodes being on Thursdays. So we have to wait a little bit longer than a week, but I'm very excited for the next episode, and I'm excited just in general. Like I can't wait to see what's next, type of thing. So, but as we always say, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. What was your favorite part of this episode, and who do you think has the potential of popping up in this series to kind of give us a little tease of what we could see in the Batman movie sequel moving forward? And as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest audio and video podcast releases. Bye, everybody!
Popping Off presents That Recap Show.